Hello everybody, welcome back. I'm Count Christo. This is the Imperial Britain campaign. We are obviously doing well. In the last episode, was it actually the last episode? Come on, middle mouse button. I believe in you. There you go. Was it actually the last episode? The American Civil War ended. Oddly enough, they then formed the Confederacy. Which is quite funny. They've kept their original flag, but yeah, they've done the Honor the Confederacy decision, and they are now the Confederacy. They're still democratic, though, even though they're mostly fascist. So that's interesting. Meanwhile, in our neck of the woods, China is hopefully about to be kicked out of Hong Kong by determined effort from good old Claude here. And in the north, we have them on the run in a few places, preparing perhaps for a push from Beijing, generally having secured lots of this area. All very, very good. I'm finally going to do it. I need to buy a new mouse, because this is it's becoming ridiculous. Okay, so we've got a planned invasion here, obviously. I don't know how well this would go. I think we could do it, though. And it would result in a nice encirclement of at least 25 Italian divisions, even if it doesn't work in the long run. So I think we're going to enact this plan. In order to enact it, I'm going to deploy this fleet for shore bombardment. We've got some heavy ships here, present here, so they should be able to help. We'll go straight onto rocket engines, start getting towards rocket planes. Will be helpful. A little bit more steel. All I need and all that. Got plenty of oil still. Okay, this is the first episode of a new recording session, so excuse me if it takes me just a moment to become reacquainted here. Ah, man, this freaking mouse, man. I know it's just because I press my middle mouse button a lot more than like normal people do, because Paradox games, you need it to move around the map, or you don't need it, but it's so much better when you use it. Okay, I think everything's ready for this invasion. Do we have planes in the region? No. Do I have air bases being improved in the region? Don't I own roads? No, roads is owned by someone else. Right, that's right. We were putting up a radar station here. Okay. If we were to land here and capture this airbase, that's only level 2, but that will help if we can get 200 crack planes having been fighting over the Atlantic to come over here. The Nicaraguan, government in exile. The time is not ripe, because if we reinstall you, it kills all my troops orders. Hunter-killer groups is excellent news. I will get the final one here. Naval AA is going to be very helpful. Okay, I think we're ready to deploy. They're moving men in the region, which I'm not a huge fan of. How supply here is a bit problematic, actually. These tanks shouldn't be here. They should be in roads. Don't know why they aren't. Perhaps because this is on a void. But as soon as they get out of there, we should see supply situation stabilize. Good. And once they've regained their organization after that little supply faux pas, we'll be ready to go in. As you can see, these tanks suffered in the the Sicilian invasion. They've lost some strength. But at least we've regained Corsica and taken Sardinia. It's a not insubstantial amount of factories. A, taken away from the Italians, and B, granted to our noble allies, the French. Are you the one that I couldn't draw in a front line for? Yeah, fair enough. We'll just leave you then. We are doing our best to raid off the Japanese coastline with a growing number of people doing that. Sorry about the siren. We will have more and more people going over there. And in fact, I am going to assign my expert submarine operator over here, who is this guy, Braille Groman, who actually doesn't have the Seawolf trait yet, which is kind of insane. So maybe I won't bother, actually. I think they're managing just fine. Ah, this is my good one. Okay. Yeah, no, we should keep him in the med right now, since that's the kind of active theater for from an invasion perspective. Now, as soon as these tanks have their... You're assigned to this, so what do you mean you can't get where you want to go? What does this mean? Unable to find valid path to target. But you're at the target, my man. I have no idea what's going on with that. These guys also... let's have our best tank general come lead these guys. Who is that? Is that you? I think you're the no, you're the Chinese one. You are not a good commander for these tanks. What are you doing in there? Lee? We need someone with a tank specialization. What have I been doing? What was past Christo thinking? Okay, we could use this guy, but his stats overall aren't very good. We could just... I mean, he does have... Oh, no, okay. His stats are actually pretty great. And with Infantry Expert, that does still help out. Wait, does that still help out? I think motorized count as infantry in terms of their attack bonuses. So that should help out. I like how using some German equipment here. Captured German equipment helping out on the front line. In fact, almost all the infantry equipment in this battalion is captured German equipment. That's great. But yeah, you are going to get the guy from China. This gentleman here. And you can have that guy sent over there. Good. Supply is more of an issue in China anyway. Okay. Once the general arrives in 15 days, we will launch the offensive. Outdated equipment is probably just a Halifax. Right. New Lancastrier bomber. Of course, the highly iconic plane. Is that the final tier? No. In which case, we will briefly divert to start working on the Lincoln. We need best planes we can have if we're going to be able to use them to strategically annihilate enemy resource lines. Okay, we've got a few days left here. Doing pretty well. I mean, one sub for 5 convoys is a bad trade. But we have serious convoy production these days. Sorry, raid production. What I'm trying to say is submarine production. And so that should be pretty good. American convoys doing well. Oh, sorry, American raiders doing well. You are a screen vessel. Can go directly into the Mediterranean fleet. That will be good. Okay. So, my men arrived. No, halfway there. Okay. In the meantime, they're obviously fighting us real hard over the Aegean. We've got a lot of friendly fighters being deployed here, apparently. Not sure out of where. Well, how are there that many friendly fighters deployed here? It's absurd. Greece, is Greece actually one of our governments in exile? It must be, right? Or did they not capitulate? Because sometimes I know they can not capitulate. I should pause when using this list or it's going to lag out. Yeah, Greece is one of our governments in exile, right. Okay. So if we can lower their legitimacy down a bit by repeatedly refusing them wanting to get re-established, we might be able to take their 25 ships, which would be pretty cool. We need their legitimacy to be below 90, I believe, to request control of their navy. Yeah, it requires... Let's have a look here. 80. Okay, so if we refuse them 3 times, we'll be able to do that. Time is not ripe. Okay. A few more days here, and we will launch the grand invasion of Thessaloniki. Claim the monastery on the big mountain. What's it called? The Larvae Monastery? Probably doesn't exist anymore, but it was in Mayo and Taxes. Alright. You guys ready? Yes. Good. This fleet, move to invasion support, and have at it. Let's do this thing. We're down a few Marines on our previous invasion, but that's okay. Time is not yet ripe. I might have to go and delete that event in the files if it's going to fire that frequently, because that's going to get really annoying. The reason we can't accept it if you didn't watch the last, or was it the last one before the last episode, is because if you accept that event, it deletes all of your exile divisions, or it takes them out of their armies or something like that. I can't remember the exact problem, but it was a real freaking pain, I assure you. Alright, we're going to begin an immediate attack on the city, even though it's extremely unlikely to succeed. It's actually not doing badly. Being supported by the Marines, which counts as extra frontage. Oh, it looks like the Italian commander got injured or something. Nice, and we're landing on the other side here. We're going to try and immediately push into these mountains and to this river in order to establish good defensive position to hold this region. So I will send small detachments of Marines up into these mountains. We do still need to invent mountaineers so that we can, you know, have a proper force to fight in this kind of terrain. This is not necessarily going to be a permanent landing. We might well call this off once we've achieved some local strategic objectives, like killing all these Italian divisions out here in the east. But it's a great proof of concept, showing just how much easier it is to land and secure territory when we're not having to deal with the... oh, right, of course, we are at war with Romania, so those Italian troops in the east are not encircled unless we make a substantially larger push. What level naval base have you got here? 3. Just going to provide woefully inadequate naval supply. And I can't begin a project here because you can only have one project at once, it seems. I will endeavor to rapidly encircle and destroy these Italian divisions to the east with my tank battalions. We'll see how that goes. Meanwhile, these guys need to land. We will try and push out to this, but it looks like the Italians are putting up some pretty fierce resistance. Many men having just recently strategic redeployed to the area, however. So a determined tank offensive around them, once these guys land, might bear fruit. We are driving them back here without difficulty. Good. Slow things way down and deploy some planes. We can't really, now I think about it, afford to deploy any planes to... we will also... I'm probably not going to be able to because of the darn command power cost. Yeah, air supply. But where's the air supply mission up here? There it is. Yeah, it costs 200. So what I'll do is I will split up this unit. We can afford to have one of them providing air supply. That's at least another bit more. Plane-wise, where have all my planes gone? No, I refuse to reinstate the damn government in exile. I click no. I swear I click no. It's not my troops it gets rid of. It's my air wings. I remember now. But why? I said no, didn't I? I could have sworn that I did. But apparently, I clicked yes. I don't know why I'm drawing this. We're going to have to reload. Because I'm not remaking like 100 air wings. Darn it. So we'll have to redo that little naval landing. Oh, well. Not the worst thing in the world. Unless, I don't know, was that naval landing already underway? No, we haven't even started yet. Okay. Well, we can actually carry out that invasion a little bit more effectively than we were doing so there. I'm scrolling with the mouse and it pains me deep in my soul. I can't stand moving the map with the mouse. Right, you guys go on there. Good. Now, Greece. I mean, with the sliding to the edge, it's so much easier to do it this way. Okay. The time is not ripe, so don't delete my freaking air wings. Okay. So we're going to launch this invasion before the others, then these two, and then these ones. Right. Tanks already in the correct position. Ships. Naval invasion support. 1 day. And 0 days. Okay. Arrays start at 0. And 0. Okay. So launch this one. The time is not yet ripe. Don't you dare reassign my air wings. Okay. Now once this guy gets to about here, halfway, maybe all the way progressed into the next sea zone, that's when we will launch the Crete and Cypriotic, not Cypriotic, not Rhodesian, because that's something different. The Rhodes. The Rhodes thing, you know what I mean. Okay, time to next zone. Excuse me, time to next zone, please. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Yes, sir. You guys, activate. You guys, activate. That's actually a bit late, isn't it? Because they... That one, right? Yeah. They actually spend some time, and apart from anything else, these ones are going around, but also they spend some time actually leaving the island before they actually like properly set off. You need to activate that one as well. Okay. Good. And they're off. And now, when they get to about there, it's time for the final ones, at which point I can just activate all of the attack plans. Okay. Okay. Men landing at Thessaloniki. Let's get these guys reorganized again. Going to be able to fire off one of them, we now know. Alright, Marines, take to the sea. Tanks ready to land. A much more cohesive landing this time. Much closer timed in terms of the actual landing. And we've got our support here. I will fly. I can't assign this because they're stationed on a carrier on a mission. Ah, okay. So they've changed up how that works. Alright, tanks landing either side here. They're going to, two of them I think are probably going to be enough to rapidly seize this. The other ones are going to rush north and establish forward positions up there, if possible. You can do the same slightly further east. Two tanks not very good at attacking this city on their own, but with the assistance of Marines from the sea, it looks like that's going to go very well. Excellent. Other tanks spreading out nicely. Give me that, that air supply. We will also... Where's my freaking air wings gone? Oh, what is this madness? Well... I mean, did I get the fighters back at least? Yeah, I have 7.8 thousand fighters in stockpile. And all of the experience on all of the air wings is now gone. Ooh, baby. Well, I definitely didn't allow any governments to return. Maybe it was just a coincidence that event fired. Oh. Alright. I'm going to end the episode early. I'm going to remake some air wings with exiled manpower and with normal manpower. And then if it deletes them again, we'll know it's not that and we'll try and find out what it is. If it does delete them again, we'll try doing it with like not using any exiled manpower, because I think the ones that remain are these the non-exiled manpower wings. It looks to be that way. Like these are the few wings that weren't using exiled manpower. So it might be that we have to stop using exiled manpower for air wings, which would suck. But I'll test it without that first. So I apologize. This episode's going to go a little short. You know what? No, we don't need air wings just for a minute. We can survive without air wings for just a second. But I don't want to end the episode that early. Let's do just a little bit more here. If we can remove this border from Turkey, they might join the Allies. Because one of the reasons they don't want to join is dangerous frontier. No, it's not actually. But we might be able to do that. Okay, one more day and these guys should establish a front line. No, they just didn't for some reason. Interesting. Well, we'll continue with them. Let's put a lot of them onto Thessaloniki. And then the rest of them can drive east and north. Good. I'll just finish off a bit of this naval invasion just so there's actually some content in this video. I don't want it to just be, you know, problems. So let's do that. Good. You guys immediately head south with sizable numbers. The rest of you can move out here. Good. We need to rapidly establish some defensive positions. If we can get to these mountains, that would be excellent. I mean, obviously, we need the port to actually fall as well. Let's move up here with some tanks so that if we come across units strategically redeploying to try and stop my advance, they don't have much luck. They're wiping them out pretty easily over there. We'll fix the front lines, obviously, once we get things a bit more sorted here. Got huge frontage deployed here now. They're heavily outnumbered and they are being shore bombarded. Bit of problems here. Do I have infantry in that tile? No. We need infantry support here, which we will get just as soon as it's finished taking Thessaloniki. Okay. And I could divert some of this firepower north as well. Driving them back here nice and easily. Good. Let's try... We just need to slightly widen the gap around here. We don't have to go very much further, although I would really like this tile right here as well. Or make it much easier to defend. If these guys drive east, perhaps? Not making too much progress there. Perhaps with some assistance from the side. We do better here. Why is there only one tank showing in this battle? Excuse me? I don't know what's up with my game today. Doesn't seem to be having a great time, does it? Alright. That is nearly over. Just driving the last few out there. And we are successfully attacking some Italian convoys. Probably them trying to supply Thessaloniki. That will get people out of Thessaloniki. Do not allow them to retake that land from the south. There's bomber command. So I will... I mean, I guess I could use it on the Valiant. How much better is this in terms of actual bombing capacity? Not very much. And it's a lot more expensive. The good thing about it is just the vast range. And the... is it defense better? Agility's quite a bit better. Yeah, we're not going to build these. Tungsten would destroy us if we started building lots. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch off and then back onto this plane to make use of that research bonus on this one. You guys can push out this way. With 2 of you, you should be able to attack here. And with tank support, we should be able to work here if that tank will actually deploy. He did this time. Don't know what was going on there. They've driven us back here already. That's not superb. And we're being attacked in the north. But come on, just take Thessaloniki. We're getting them. We're really hammering into them now. Obviously, the lack of air support is pretty devastatingly bad. Obviously, we'll sort that just as soon as we can stabilize a tiny bit here. There we go. Okay. Okie doke. You two in the same army? No, you two in the same army. Yeah. So we're going to consolidate these front lines to make this easier to manage. All of your guys should be on this front line. And you can be the ones focusing west. If you could establish that as a defensive position, it would be superb. I don't have high hopes. Love to take that air base. Meanwhile, you, my good man, I'm going to delete all of your orders and then just reissue you another one, and you can be the one focused to the east. Looks good. The tanks, pretty much already looking how I want them to. I really don't want to have to reissue their orders because they'll stop moving, but that actually was the main tank that I was concerned about on that front, so I will rejig them now. There we go. Okay, this is a fine defensive line. We got mountains here, haven't we? Hills, at least. On plains. It's not ideal. Perhaps we could take this forest. No, not ideal. Not ideal. Next, focus. I mean, I could do the Burma Road. Doesn't really seem necessary. Building land and coastal forts is helpful. So sure, let's fortify the Empire, shall we? That's a tile they should not have left open, even for a moment. We'll see if we can grab that off them. Okay, we will begin... No, they're still working on that allied construction project to the radar over here. Well, I wonder if we're going to be able to hold this area. How is the radar over here doing? It's 3 out of 5. Getting there. Let's continue a few pushes in this area. No, I thought I was going to be able to support that from the south without the southern support. It's definitely not going to work. Call that off. Call that off. And it helps the south. Good. Okay, let everyone get reorganized, and then as soon as this thing finishes, we'll try and up the infrastructure here. Until such a time as we can pull that off, what I'm going to have to do is remove some of these guys back to the islands back here, like this, so that we can try and conserve supply in this region. We can also make sure we're continuously spending command power on this, which will be very helpful. Oh, in fact, I have enough already. Good. Let's launch in some more planes. I'm not going to base any planes out of this area, because that will obviously use up supply that we need for the ground troops. Okay. Well, this has started fairly well. I mean, don't do that. Started fairly well here. We've got a relatively, stable border. It's a large number of factories, including many civilian factories, denied the Axis, which is always something I am fond of. I would like to seize this tile as well, not least so that we can in the future have a building project going on here. The supply in the east is actually better. We might want to, in that case, separate out how we're organizing our marine armies, such that we have one in the east and one in the west. That way, we're going to be able to more effectively control how much supply is used in each zone. So more marines in the east, where we're having less of a problem with that. Fighter escorts, very nice. I will keep on going, reinforcing my bombers. Right now, it's just to defend our supply runs, basically. Okay. Now, obviously, we're seeing a lot of men on our border. No Germans yet, which is good. But the Italians, obviously, remember, are as buffed as the Germans. So they are not to be underestimated. Into hills, we might be able to crack them with some tanks here. Got a massive breakthrough on our divisions. Attacking into Romanian territory. I'd like to be able to push this river. So we will continue this in the next episode. I'm going to draw up a whole bunch of air wings before the next episode starts. I will see you then. Bye-bye.